Well, talked about yesterday about unreal expectations, and I suppose the one that I missed, the glazing or glaringly obvious elephant in the room, would be sex, wouldn't it? I suppose we should talk about that then, shouldn't we? And this will be a topic where I'll probably go too far, but that is me anyway, so not being rude in that, but graphic, I suppose, in body form or whatever. So let's get started. I remember before sex, those were happy times. Not saying that when I had sex wasn't, all right? Just I remember the innocence and fancying a girl, right? When I had my bike and I used to ride over to see girls, right? Me and my mates used to go out with them, and you knew you wanted to be with them. You found them attractive. You liked the shape of them, but God forbid they made a move on you. I had one. She wanted to do it. I fucking dumped her. I was terrified, right? I had no intention of losing my virginity, none at all. Some of the people you would least expect at school to lose their virginity had lost theirs. I mean, even a guy we knew called the Slug had lost his. It didn't go that well, apparently. The details did get out in the end, not to the entire population of the school, but to some at least. And yes, he put the same effort into that as he did into most things. So there it was. And that was another thing that terrified me. And also, well, we've talked about this before, I was a late developer. Very, very late. Very late to get hair under my arms. Obviously, I had no hair on my chest, which is the difference now. Couldn't grow any facial hair. Yeah, how times have changed, right? Which leads into the conversation yesterday. But I thought that I was small because I didn't get involved in sports at school because I was short. I was the second smallest of the year. So playing rugby against some of these behemoths, I should say, would have been suicidal. And not just that, I didn't like the fuckers. Arrogant, fucking entitled, cocksucking wankers. So I just didn't want to be around him. And these things walked around like, well, they were full grown adults back in the day, and there was me, not a lot of me, right? And I just thought, nah. So I just had girlfriends and kissed them, and that was about as far as it went. Anyway, things progressed and things started to change as they do. And I was still adamant, I ain't doing it. Not a fucking chance. Don't need that in my life. Why? I live at home. I don't need that. I'd rather go out on my bike with my mates, and then as time moved forward, I'd rather go out in the cars with my mates, and I'd rather go drinking with my mates. And we used to have this babysitter who wasn't a great deal older than my brother. All right. In fact, she could have been my brother's age, but she was sensible. She moved out of home. She had a flat, and that sounds wrong in the fact that there needed to be a babysitter, right? There didn't. What there needed to be was a referee, all right? My brother hated me with a passion of, you just couldn't comprehend it. I was wrong for being born. I stole his attention. He hated the fact that I was comfortable in life, in myself, in my skin, and he saw me as everything that he wasn't. And you'd have to meet him. But I won't mention his name, and needless to say, we don't get along. Anyway, well, watch this, and to be honest, well past the point of giving a shit. You can only try so many times with a person and have that one go wrong before you realise that that's just simply not the case. Moving on. Sister's fine, like her. Where were we? So, yeah, so we had this person come round when parents had to go out, just to make sure that the brother didn't start or whatever. So yeah, nice girl. Quite a lot of people liked her, actually. I thought she was my friend because I was naive. Turns out 19th birthday, her, not mine. I was barely 16. As you've seen from the pictures, there wasn't much of me. I mean, the two pictures that you saw yesterday, one of them I was 17 and the other it was on my 18th birthday against the Capri. So at 16, I might have showed you the picture of me in the pool. That was me at 16, all right? Or was it no, fuck me, I was 17 there thinking about it. Anyway, I digress, moving on. So, it's her birthday. And it's I think it was a Friday night. So we go out, and I said to her, because I was still at school, like, I said, I ain't got any money. She said, oh, that's all right, I got some money. All right. So we've gone out, we've had a drink, and I've listened to her tales of ex-partners who I knew, like, and whatever. Didn't think anything of it. She got fairly, well, not piss, but she started getting there. And obviously I didn't take much. I think I used to drink pints of diesel, snake bite and black, because it was cheap and it worked. Anyway, I said to her later on that night, I'm really sorry I couldn't get you a present or anything. She went, well, there is something you can give me. And I went, oh yeah, what's that? You can work out the rest for yourself. I tried to get out of it. Fuck, I tried to get out of it, right? So on the way home, she wasn't very well. I thought, great, I'll walk her home, be the gent, get out of this one scot-free, look good. No, not at all. No, she recovered and still had the horn. And I'm starting to run out, because the box of talent and skills isn't full yet, is it? You're early in your years. Fuck that. I've got a condom, never mind, can't do it. Don't worry, I've got one. Oh, shit. Last ditched attempt here, right? At trying to get out. You'll have to go on top. Yeah, no worries. Oh, fuck, I've got to go through with it. So I had to go through it, mate. The first time you see that thing disappear, I think my whole face during the entire experience, all of it was like, didn't matter what position. I was too terrified. I literally was holding on for grim death. No, I didn't finish. I was too scared. So there, that was it. And then the next morning, I'm sat at the kitchen table, early morning, stunned. Just fucking stunned. With a grin, but stunned. How the fuck did my old man know? He came down straight away and he went like this. He went, I went, he went, I went, he went, you went who? So I said the name, he went, really? Because they all thought she was lovely. I went, yeah, don't know how that happened. Not quite that, he's a little bit more, but that was that. And then after that, you get the taste, don't you? So you go back and you have more, and you go through the mistakes that you will make as you go forward. And then at one point, pretty much, I would have fucked a rolling donut. Literally. And from a person who was quite insecure about themselves, and growing up in my household, they're not ones to give you compliments about yourself. Knock you down, sarcastic and all the rest of it. And if you're a bit of a sensitive nature, as I was, you didn't have a lot, you know. You didn't assume that you were good looking, you assumed you was bad looking. You assumed that nobody'd be particularly interested, and even if they were interested, you couldn't work out why. And then you start getting all this attention as you develop into a man. And it's great, and it's addictive. And so I went through a period of time where I was just literally flat out. Anyway, you get a bit older, the drink starts to take its toll, and you start to, I don't know, probably get anxiety and stuff like that. And you realise that meaningless sex leaves you quite empty. Not good. That started to happen late 20s and 30s. And then, I don't know, you're in a long-term relationship for a while, you get very comfortable with the person, so you don't have any insecurities anymore. You have maybe concerns, like you'll ask questions, what do you think of this, or does it look bad, or does it look good, or you're happy, whatever. If you've got anything about you, you'll ask questions, and that's how things work better. Halfway through, excuse me, I've got to ask. It wasn't like that, all right? Bulb in the eye. Tell me what I need to know. Wasn't like that either. Jesus. Anyway, sleep sex. Have you ever heard of that? I was with my partner, right? I might as well give up all these details because they're funny, right? And we were that keen about. So she said to me, if you ever want to, and I'm asleep, you help yourself. And I said the same to her. Which, as a bloke, you think I'm fairly safe, because no, you're not. Because apparently, sometimes it works when you're asleep. So you wake up and they're there. You're like, oh, all right, oh, yeah. And a few times I woke up in the act. And she went, you all right? You with me now? And I went, yeah, oh. Have you? Yes, a couple of times. Really? So basically, you're better in your sleep than you are in real life. Well, that's not true, but it's nice to know, isn't it? You know. So move on. That relationship comes to an end. You're getting older now. Your body is changing. I hope you're still with me on this one. It gets worse and better. So your body's changing. You split up. You go through a little bit of meeting people, and you know that leaves you quite cold and empty. You're still dealing with the drinking, the bipolar, all the rest of it, and you've started to get more insecurities than I don't know, than a Ford Granada at a banger racing track. Do you know what I mean? So then you get you bump into a woman who has a history of you didn't realise it at the time, but she's a fucking nutter, and that ends up because details. She's never met a bloke that could make her happy, and that will play on you if you care. Some of you blokes will get with me here, and since I've not had complaints before, and she didn't complain, it was that way it was, that knocks you. And then you realise after you split up with that said person that they're a nutter, and you don't fancy any more nutter in your life, so you stay single a while. And given the fact that that was pretty much your last missus, if you want, yeah, you've had a couple of flings in between, but you were drunk, so you can't remember a great deal. And now you have this, I don't know, I don't think I'm going to bother thing. And the longer you leave it, the more it becomes the normal. Almost so, the way I feel now is much like I did, well, actually more docile than when I was 15, 16. I would sooner go out for a drive. I would sooner go out on the bike. I would sooner, I don't know. There isn't a lot at the moment that's inspiring me to do anything. And as I said on the video, I'm not body positive. I mean, it's not horrendous. I can now get my top off, right? So I was down the beach yesterday watching that was meant to be an eclipse, which wasn't really fucking much of an eclipse, and it didn't get dark, and it bollocks really. But it was nice watching people not taking any notice that the sign said don't park any further than this because the tide's coming in, and they did, and I parked right at that sign. So I watched them all down there panicking, trying to get their cars out, and then you're watching all the grockles getting their cars stuck in the soft sand. That was more entertaining than the eclipse, I could say. But anyway, so obviously here I am now, single, and the whole process of dating and having to get undressed in front of somebody, especially sober, as I used alcohol as a crutch, if you want, it panics me, it worries me, I'm avoiding it, I'm going to be honest. And there is some interest out there, and I'm just, no. Maybe when I've got myself into a shape that I'm happy with, because it's not how other people see you, it's you've got to be happy with yourself. Maybe when we get there. But the other expectation is I am not going to perform as well as I did when I was 17 or 18, because I was a fucking machine. Not, you know, two jerks and a squirt kind of a creature myself. Or my dad always told me, he said, you have to make sure she's happy before you're happy. He said, if you can manage to do this, you'll be doing all right. So I took that on board, and I really did, because actually for me, the best part of the entire act is watching the other person enjoying themselves. That fucking, that makes, I can't tell you how good that makes you feel. It makes you happy, makes you feel powerful. Look what I'm doing to that woman. It's a good thing. She's happy with that. I'm actually doing that to her, and she's happy with it. It's a great feeling. You cannot, that for me is the best part, right? And the fact that you've found a human being of a relative sexual nature that is actually compliant and willing to let you do things to her body. That for me amazes me, because the male form with the junk, which is the last turkey in the shop, is possibly the ugliest thing out ever. It's grim. So why women find that attractive, or the body, I will never know. It's one of the great wonders of the world. But obviously the female body all the curves and everything's quite lovely. But it's just everything for me. The drive. I mean, if you've taken, if any of you have ever taken Sertraline, which is what I'm on, and I've come down from 100, you won't have a sex drive. Goodbye, ta-ta, off it went. I mean, you couldn't even half the time sort yourself out alone on your own with a left-handed website. Not long we're going to be getting loaded from this machine, so I'll wrap this up. But at the moment, the whole thought of going through the dating process and then getting undressed, sober, in front of somebody, no, don't fancy those apples. And the fact of somebody making a move on you, at the moment, oof, worrying, terrifying. So yes, does anybody else feel like this? Now I'm hoping, eventually I'm going to meet somebody that will just make me go, ding, and that's it, and you'll want to do all of that. And for me, I think the sexual attraction would come a hell of a lot with somebody that I really, really, well, I end up loving, right? But you know, somebody who's really attracted to you, everything about their personality you think is great. There's a sparkle about them. There's all the other bits and bobs you think, fucking hell, I really like that person. And that, I think, will make you want to jump into bed. And if I don't get that, I'm just quite happy not to bother. What do you think? And did I go too far? Let me know in the comments. And let me know if these conversations are still appropriate, whether any of this resonates with you. Anyway, I must get off because after he gets loaded, I've got to get under there. I've got to put the camera on. See you in a bit.